It's recording.
Welcome. Driving 1, Episode 4. We moved the sign. Today, going to discuss driving tendencies. I'll tell you what that is in just a minute. First thing I want you to hear is that don't confuse anything I say for the truth. It's just some stuff I believe. This being episode 4, I want to remind you what we talked about in the first 3, what I talked about. You people aren't even here. What I talked about in the first 3 episodes. And number 1, I discussed integrity being a prerequisite for a thriving life. Integrity is when my thoughts, my words, my feelings, my actions, and my beliefs agree. And episode 2 talked about beliefs and how important they were to our thoughts, words, feelings, and actions, and how our beliefs grow out of where we initially start accumulating them, the people we are with there, and the time we are with them, and what they believe. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this, I want to provide today's thriving trip, because that's what the cue card says I'm supposed to say next. Today's tip: the quality of our thriving is determined less by what we are doing than by how we are doing it. Don't that sound nice? Yes, that sounds nice. You can't see them, they're off screen. Okay? I had a couple of friends point out to me that this being episode 4, they noticed that I haven't defined thriving, even though it's all I've been talking about. And you know what? In a very rare incident, they were right. They don't do that very often. Now, one of my very favorite movie characters is Pat Morita, who played Miyagi in the Karate Kid movies. And one of the things he said to Daniel more than once was, all things are balance. Well, see, now there's one of those absolutes. Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Miyagi knew Daniel wasn't very bright, so you could get away with absolutes sometimes. I want to suggest that thriving is an unbalanced way of life, weighted towards enjoyment and nurturing life. And when I say nurturing life, that life is one of those great big L's on the beginning. Not just human life, not just my life, all life. Others would define thriving differently. I welcome them to do their own podcast. Thriving is done in many, many different ways. I don't know any 2 people who do it exactly the same. It's a different recipe for each person. The things I'm going to share with you, I call them thriving tendencies or traits, that not every person who's engaged in thriving has all of these, but many of these are common to the recipes that many of those people have. Now, there's about a bazillion thriving tendencies, and I wasn't sure exactly where to start, so what I did, I wrote down the first 50 that came to mind. This took probably the better part of 3 minutes. Okay? What I did was I made some little pieces of paper, and I'm just going to pull one out of here at a time. It is right now 107. We're going to call it 108 because the 7's hard to read on this old clock. I'm going to call it 108. For 10 minutes, I'm going to pull these things out of here and talk about whichever one comes out of there. Okay? At least I hope so. I sure like coffee. So with that, let's get started on some Thriving tendencies. Oh, we got two. We got two. One thriving tendency is that you make a plan and you follow through with it. Okay? Okay, what we got on here? Playfulness. Now, that doesn't mean that the person sits around and does this with their Xbox all day, although that could be included. Doesn't mean that they play chess all day or cribbage all day or Risk or Sorry, Chutes and Ladders. It just means that the person is going through life kind of not hopping and skipping and dancing, but with some joviality to themselves and not being real serious about stuff that isn't. One. Wonder if I get that same one. Here we go. This is an important one. Strong sense of belonging. To me, as important as the beliefs are to our thoughts and words and actions and feelings, belonging is that important to how we get and keep and change beliefs. Where do I belong? Who do I belong with? There are many times that I believe I still belong in the 50s and I feel a little out of place. But that's not every day. Mostly it's the days I spend time with my much younger wife. I belong with my friends. I belong with what I would consider to be a society of people who live a life that's free of mood-altering chemicals. I belong with some of my former colleagues in social work and psychology and counseling. I belong with my poker group. I've been playing poker with the same bunch of guys, pretty much. A couple died, one went to prison, we won't talk about that. He belongs there. But we've been playing for a quarter of a century. And you know what? It isn't about the money. We get together, we eat a whole bunch of food, and we play some cards, and basically trade laundry money while making fun of each other. And it's a great time, and it's been a big thing in my life. I belong most of the time with people that other people would describe as family. My biggest chunk of belonging is really with my enduring friendships. I have upwards of 20 people involved in my life that have been involved with my life for decades. One time I was showing off and I did some impressive stuff. It could happen, okay? And one of my friends asked, "So, do you think you have a superpower?" And I said, "Yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, I do have a superpower." And he said, "What is it?" I said, "My superpower is how I pick my friends." That's enough of that one. I don't want to get all weepy on you. Unless we pull at the feelings one. What's this say? Oh, I really like this one. Zoom on that. Just kidding. Don't zoom nothing. Okay? Ask what's right. In the United States of America, in the year 2023, 2223, it's 2023. I don't know what year it is. Stay over there where they can't see you. In the year 2023, we live in a place and a time where the population of this place is obsessed with the question, what's wrong? Okay, we have more ways to ask what's wrong than an Eskimo has to describe snow. What's the matter? Are you all right? Are you holding something back? It just goes on and on and on. When is the last time someone walked up to you, looked at you, and greeted you with, "Hey, what's right?" When's the last time? My guess is, unless that person looked just like this, that shit ain't never happened to you. Don't say shit here. Okay? This is not for the children. Okay? Ask what's right. The best you can achieve asking what's wrong is a really good list of problems. Well, that comes in handy. You know, like if the problems are like hunger, thirst, shelter, things like rent money. Okay, what's wrong? I'm not saying what's wrong isn't important. I'm just saying that's not all there is. And when I ask what's right, and I try to do this on a regular basis, it's what have I done right? And it's sophisticated, complex things like, I fed my cat. That's right. I'm 72 years old. I took a nap in the middle of the day. That's right. I'm diabetic. I took my medicine as prescribed, and I ate 4 little meals today and only drank 1 Pepsi. So, and it's not just what did I do right, it's what did other people do right that contributed to my life. I mentioned that I take a little medication for that diabetes. One of the things somebody else does right is I am married to a nurse. They won't let you set up your own medication. They will do it for you. And if you don't let them do it for you, they will do something to you. And you won't like it any more than I did. So I thank her for setting up the meds. She goes grocery shopping. I'm not good at grocery shopping. I might get what's on the list, but I'm going to get a whole bunch of crap that ain't on that list and ain't on that diabetic diet. And by the way, why would you start the name of a disease with the syllable die? That's wrong. I want some livabetus. I don't want no diabetes. So anyway, ask what's right. What's right is the light company is functioning. What's right is the wife paid the light bill. What's right? My friend Richard, who sits over here and makes faces while I'm doing this, came over to help me do this because without him here, I'd be writing you notes on a big chief tablet trying to find out your mailing address. Okay, that's enough of what's right. What you got in here? We're only at 116, don't get nervous. Ooh, driving people tend not to be chronically overextended. Okay, I know a bunch of guys, not a bunch, I know 2 or 3. Okay, one of them's dead, but never mind about that, I lose track. Okay, who are out there thriving so hard, they're doing so much, they've made so many commitments that it's hard for them to get to doing them all and doing them all in a way that's worthwhile. I have a young buddy, this will tell you how old I am. My young friends are in their 50s. Okay, I got a young buddy, he coaches basketball. Okay, he goes to college full time. He makes presentations at numerous schools around here. He's designed a recidivism reduction program for a county incarceration center. Is that how they say jail? I thought so. Okay, and he's just going like heck all the time, and we chat twice a week. Every time he's 10 minutes late. Okay, but he knows I got nowhere to go, and I'm just sitting here asking myself what's right and going in to feed the cat because I couldn't list it at that time. So even with thriving, you don't have to do it every minute of every day like it's urgent, and if you don't get something done, that the universe is going to crumble. And it's going to crumble. but probably not right away. Okay, it's 1:17. This is the last one. I don't want to do this one. Now, if I told you what's on here, what I would say is it says upside down moral values. Let's turn those right side up. Okay, moral values. This is that stuff about right, wrong, good, bad, should, and shouldn't. Not everyone has the same moral values. Everyone doesn't have to have the same moral values. I can almost guarantee you I would not shove my moral values down your throat. And I can just as equally well come close to guarantee you I'm not going to let you shove yours down mine. Okay? But it is important, and I don't know anyone who lives a really worthwhile, enjoyable, productive life, connected to other humans, who doesn't have a set of moral values. I have met some people who don't have moral values, who aren't capable of having moral values. They call those people sociopaths. And if I could feel pity, I would pity them. All right, there, we did 5. You know, there's still like 45 in here, and I'm going to write some more between now and next time, and I have to empty another coffee can to put these in so I don't do the same one twice, because I probably say different stuff. Now, moving right along, I promise you aphorism every time. Oh, today's is good, I hope. Aphorism. It is almost impossible to put even a teaspoon of joy into a bucket that is overflowing with bitterness. Told you. Next time, we're going to do some more of this. Appreciate you tuning in, all 6 of you. Remind you that any reproduction, rebroadcast, or retransmission of this podcast without the express written consent of me is considered flattering. There is just one us.